Welcome to the ePathshala lecture series on computer science. We are in the 16th module of the course Computer Graphics and Visualization. In the previous module, we've talked about 3D transformation and 3D viewing, specifically 3D viewing, and in 3D viewing we talked about that is viewing transformation, and followed by that we have to do a projection transformation, and projection transformation is followed by clipping, and clipping transformation is followed by viewport transformation, and finally it is to device coordinates. So, a series of transformations are performed so that the coordinates of the object get transformed from one coordinate system to the other, and so that we finally achieve a kind of view for the 3D world. So, that is where the entire thing lies. In this particular module, we will be considering the next transformations, which is projection transformation. In the previous module, we had a little introduction to the projection transformation. We have got the two primary transformations, which are parallel and perspective. In parallel projections, the lines of projections are parallel. That means, consider an object. An object is projected onto the view plane along lines which are parallel to each other, and in perspective projections, the lines of projection are not parallel, but rather they converge at a point called the center of projection I, or projection reference point. So, you can recollect the discussion because an introduction has been given there, and this lecture is a continuation of that. So, the introduction is more important for a better understanding of this module. Okay. The people who contributed to this subject are these, with the objectives we have for this module, which are understanding the two transformations for projection transformations, which are parallel and perspective. Okay. As we saw differences between two, parallel and perspective, and the parallel projections are they are less realistic, and perspective projections are more realistic. On one side there is an advantage, and from the parallel projections the other advantage is we can have better front, side and top views of the 3D world, while the advantage of perspective projections is the projections are more realistic, but it destroys the relative proportions of the sides of the object, does not preserve, while the parallel projections preserve the relative proportions of the sides of an object. Okay. So, that is fundamentally the difference. So, we will also look into the classification of various of these two projections. Like in parallel projections, we have got oblique, orthogonal, axonometric, multi-view, orthographic. We have got these classes of projections, while in perspective projections we have got 1 point, 2 point and 3 point perspective projection. So, which you can look at the previous module, you will get a better idea. Okay. So, here look at parallel projections, and parallel projections are projections where the lines of projections are parallel, and if the lines of projection happen to be perpendicular to the view plane. So, imagine you have got a plane of projection. Now, an object is being projected onto this plane along lines which are perpendicular, to the plane of projection. So, that means the angle between the line and the plane is 90 degrees. So, when the lines of projection are perpendicularly, if they hit the plane of projection, we call it orthogonal projection or orthographic projection or whatever you can call. So, it is perpendicular, so it is called orthographic, 90 degrees is the angle. But if the lines of projection make some angle with the view plane other than 90 degrees, we call it oblique projections. Okay. So, the difference is, if the lines are perpendicular, we call it orthogonal, and if the lines are oblique, we call it and the lines are making an angle other than 90, we call it oblique projection. So, the difference you should observe, but still the lines of projections are parallel to each other. Only thing is that with respect to the view plane, they will be either oblique or orthogonal. Okay. So, in the case of orthographic projections, as you can see here in the slide, you have this as the view plane. This is the view plane, and this is the view volume. So, as you can see, the view volume shape is important. So, you are looking into the 3D world through a box like object, a box like thing for which the 4 sides of the box are closed and you are seeing only the front and the back faces of the box are open. So, it is you are seeing the world through a rectangular box. Okay, that is the essence of this shape. The parallel projections have got this shape, while the perspective projections have got the shape of a frustum, which we will see later. Now, imagine this box. Now, we are always seeing the world along the negative z direction as the convention that that I mentioned in previous discussions during 3D transformations. Okay, you can recollect the conventions for the right handed coordinate system. Again, this is the view plane onto which the objects will be projected. Okay, the objects inside the box will be considered, the objects outside the box will be discarded, and now the viewport is either you can consider the viewport to be on the that is as the front face of the or the back face of the near plane, or you can consider near plane. It might be aligned with the near plane, or the view plane can be anywhere inside the box also, as you can consider. That is the thing here. And imagine this is an xyz is a point in 3D space. Any point in 3D space has got 3 coordinates. It is now projected onto the view plane. View plane is simply a plane in the xy which is a plane within the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system, a finite plane within the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system. So, xyz is a point in 3D space and it is projected onto a plane and what will be its coordinates now after projection. Now, the projection is orthographic. Now, again if imagine you got a position in space x, y, z. Now, when you this is the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system. Now, how do we identify a point in 3D space? You travel x units along x direction, you travel y units along the y direction, and you travel z units along the z direction. So, if you imagine this x units along x direction, y units along y direction, z units along z direction, you identify a point. Now, when we project a point here for that sake onto the view plane along the direction which is perpendicular to the view plane, then what happens to the position when it hits the view plane is that the z becomes 0. In this case, because the xy plane is the view plane is within the xy plane, the z coordinate will be 0, because y x units along x axis, y units along y axis, and z units along z axis. Now, the projection is orthogonal projection. Orthogonal means perpendicular. So, we are traveling along again the reverse direction, which is the perpendicular direction to the plane, and then we are identifying a position when it hits. The hit point has got actually 2 coordinates x, y, because on the xy plane the z coordinate is 0. In fact, if it has to be exactly written, the hit point will be x comma y comma 0, because on the view plane the z coordinate is 0. So, a point p x y z, when it is projected orthogonally onto the view plane, the z will be 0 and x y will remain. So, it is exactly the same x y. So, the equations we can write for orthogonal projection: x dashed is x, y dashed is y, z dashed is 0. So, that is how you can give the orthogonal projection. Now, axonometric orthographic parallel projections are where you identify a position in such a way that you get to see more than one side of the object at the same time. Let me repeat this. You identify a position and orientation such that you get to see more than one face of an object. For our understanding, we can consider a cube. Imagine a cube. So, a cube like object, if I keep the cube like this, and if I am seeing from here, I will be actually seeing only one face of the cube. But if I tilt the cube, that is than to tilt the cube, I can identify a position such that I can see more than one face of the cube at a time. I hope you are understanding, you are getting this point. Imagine a cube like object, and you, without disturbing the object, you can change the viewing position and you capture the world from that viewing position. You ensure that you are seeing more than one face of the 3D object. So, this is if you consider a direction or orientation for the viewing position in such a way that the normal vector to the view plane, so imagine you are holding a camera like the normal vector is the perpendicular direction. The normal vector to the view plane is aligned with the diagonal of the cube. The normal vector to the view plane is, if it is aligned with, it is in the same direction of the diagonal of the cube, then what you get to see is more than one face, and exactly you will get to see that all sides are equally distributed and all the sides are exactly perfect, and such a kind of projection is called, it's axonometric orthographic parallel projection, where you get to see more than one face of the object. All the three principal axes here, x direction, y direction, z direction, are foreshortened equally. That is an important word. Foreshortened means they are equally projected. So, if there is any reduction, the reduction is seen on all sides equally. So, that is the essence of this. Now, let us see what is oblique parallel projection. So, orthographic and oblique is the first classification under parallel projections, and oblique are further classified into cabinet, cavalier. Orthographic are classified into axonometric, multi-view, orthographic, and so on. And let us look at how do we project using oblique projections. What is an oblique projection? Again, let me give you a recap of that. When the lines of projection are making an angle other than 90 with the view plane, we call them as we call that projection as oblique projection. So, oblique is an inclined angle other than 90. Okay. If it is 90, it is orthographic. So, in this scenario, imagine this scenario as shown there. Imagine this is the view plane. Again, always our conventions are that view plane is an imaginary 2D plane onto which we do projections, and the plane is always considered to be a plane which is in the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system. The plane lies in the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system. So, z direction is perpendicular. Okay. So, as shown here, this is the view plane. Okay. Now what is our assumption? The projection, lines of projection should be oblique. Okay. Now, for that, let us consider a point in space which is x, y, z, a 3D point. This point is to be projected onto the view plane obliquely. Okay. Now, before we do that, this is the dotted line which is obliquely projected, but before we do that, what is that we do is, let us project this point first orthogonally, so that it hits the view plane here at this point. As we know from orthogonal projection that if a point has got coordinates x, y, z, and if the view plane is the xy plane, if the point is projected orthogonally, the z will be 0. So, the coordinates at this point are x comma y, the same coordinates with z 0. Okay. Now, the line connecting x, y, z and this x, p, y, p. Now, x, p, y, p are the projection coordinates of the point x, y, z on the view plane. So, x, p, y, p are the obliquely projected obliquely projected coordinates of the position x, y, z. Okay. So, this x, p, y, p lies on the view plane. Okay. Now, our aim is to compute what could be these two, or what are the values for x, p and y, p. Now, for that, we know now these two, we have drawn first these two lines. The next step is to connect these two with an imaginary line L. First step is to take the point x, y, z and draw a line on that, so that it hits the view plane at x, p, y, p. Now, this is the orthogonally projected line. See this line which is exactly parallel to the z, v direction. This direction should be exactly parallel to the z, v direction. So, this is why it is orthogonal. Now, it hits the view plane here which is x comma y position. Now, connect these 2 points with an imaginary line L. So, let us call the imaginary line L. So, with the ends x, p, y, p and x comma y. Now, this angle, now we need some angle. So, how do we know that it is an oblique projection? So, we would imagine a line in the plane, and we take this obliquely projected line, and we compute the angle between the two, that is a line in the plane and the line projected, that is alpha. Let this angle of projection which is obliquely projected let the angle be alpha. How did we get alpha? By computing the angle between the L and this line of projection, which is important to us. So, alpha is the angle of projection which is considered oblique. Now, this is another angle phi which is made by the line, imaginary line L with the x axis. Now, this is the imaginary line L. Now, let phi be the angle made by this line with x axis. So, that is with the xv direction. So, from that position here you can draw a straight line, a line parallel to x direction and compute the angle which is nothing but your phi. So, phi is an imaginary angle, is an angle between L and x axis. Alpha is the angle between the line L and the line of projection, oblique line, and these are the various elements of this derivation. So, let us first start with the derivation by considering cosine of the angle phi. What is cosine of the angle phi? The cos phi. Cos phi is adjacent side by hypotenuse. So, how do we get the adjacent side? How much is the adjacent side? The line L is the hypotenuse and we have got the x axis, and you can drop a perpendicular onto the x axis from xp yp onto this line, so that the triangle is complete. Now, what is adjacent side and what is hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is L, we know, and what is adjacent side? Xp minus x is the length of the adjacent side. Now, this side is xp minus x. So, xp minus x by L is cos phi. So, cos phi is equal to xp minus x divided by L. So, what is the aim? We want xp. What is xp? Xp is equal to x plus L cos phi. If you convert this, cos phi is equal to xp minus x by L, and xp is equal to x plus L cos phi is the first equation. Similarly, you can derive sin phi. Okay. What is sine of the angle phi? Opposite side by hypotenuse. So, opposite side is from this xp yp onto this horizontal direction, you can identify the length. What is that length? The length is actually along the y direction. So, it is yp minus y divided by L is sin phi. So, sin phi is equal to yp minus y by L. So, yp is L, y plus L sin phi is obtained like this. So, the two equations which are important for oblique projection are obtained like this. Now, in these two equations we did not get to use the alpha, which is an important angle. Now, how do we use alpha? We have to bring in that angle which is the angle of projection. So, tan alpha is equal to z by L. What is tan alpha? Alpha is here. Alpha is the angle for the between the lines L and the line of projection. Now, what is the triangle here which you should consider? The triangle formed by the positions xyz, xy and xp yp. Now, tan alpha is equal to opposite side by adjacent side, which is adjacent side is L, opposite side is this length is this which is parallel to this length, this is actually z. Let me tell how did I calculate and said simply like it is z. As I said earlier, to locate a point in the 3D world, we travel x units along x direction, y units along y direction and z units along z direction. Now, when you perform an orthographic projection, you exactly give traverse in the reverse order, that is perpendicular direction. So, you are nullifying this z value. So, the length travelled is actually z and you are reverting back along the same line to identify a position. So, this length from xyz to xy is z. Okay. So, this z coordinate z units. Okay. So, now this is z, this is L, tan alpha is equal to z by L. So, L is equal to z by tan alpha, and let 1 by tan alpha, because if alpha is known, if we assume alpha to be 60 or if you assume alpha to be 30, we know that tan alpha is something, tan 45 is something or tan 60 is something, this is a constant. Okay. So, consider 1 by tan alpha as a constant, let us call it L1. Okay. Consider 1 by tan alpha is a constant and let us call it L1, which is actually 1 by tan alpha. And now, xp is equal to x plus L is equal to ZL1. So, replace this equation, replace L in this equation with ZL1. So, now what happens is L with ZL1 xp is equal to x plus ZL1 cos phi, yp is equal to y plus ZL1 sin phi. Okay. They are the two equations. Now, for these two equations we have put up a matrix here. Now, what happens to Zp? What is Zp? Xp, Yp are only there, Zp is 0. It is understood as, because we have considered a plane of projection which is exactly on the xy plane of the viewing coordinate system. On the xy plane Z is 0. So, Zp is always 0 here on the view plane. Here also it is 0 after xy and Z is 0. So, Zp is equal to 0 0 0 0. You should observe this carefully, and xp is equal to x plus y is 0 and Z is separated. L1 cos phi is the coefficient for the Z, L1 sin phi is the coefficient for the Z. Okay, now what is the effect of this matrix? Now, okay, we have performed a transformation on how does it affect the object. Should it will it change the view of the object, will it give us a different view, or will it give us a kind of what is called will it mislead us in the kind of, say, the object looks like, or what does it perform, how does it influence the way we observe the object. This is the way we can imagine that to be. So, as you can see here, this matrix, if you observe this carefully, these two coefficients are non-zeros or non-ones. These coefficients, this matrix is exactly similar to the shear matrix for the Z shear matrix. Okay. If you recollect the discussion on 3D transformations, there we have got a shear. Shear in 3D is performed with respect to not axes, with respect to planes. Okay. Shear is done with respect to planes. Okay. If we perform shear with respect to the xy plane, what happens is the closest faces do not get shear, will not be sheared, but the faces which are farther are at the back of the, if you imagine a box like a cube like object, slice that into various smaller slices. You can slice them with respect to the xy plane, make many slices. The first slice will not be sheared, the shear effect is 0. The second slice will be a little sheared, the third slice will be further sheared. So, it is something like this: the second slice is sheared, the third slice is further sheared, the fourth slice is further sheared, and so on. So, the backmost planes of the object get sheared the most. Okay, that is the shear effect. Okay. So, the front faces do not get sheared, but where the backmost faces get the shear. Now, oblique parallel projections are shown here. There are two popular oblique projections, which are Cavalier and Cabinet. So, if you consider alpha to be 45, what is alpha? Alpha is angle of projection. If alpha is 45, we call it Cavalier projection. If alpha is 63.4 degrees approximately, it is Cabinet. Tan alpha is 1, tan alpha is 2 for the two angles shown here. For the two angles shown here, tan alpha is 1 and tan alpha is 2. Tan alpha is 1, it is Cavalier, tan alpha is 2, it is Cabinet projections. Why these are of special consideration is that the way they show the projections, or the objects are so much like realistic. So, what about phi? Now, you might ask what should happen to phi then? There are two angles, alpha and phi. What should happen to phi? So, phi is again an imaginary angle, as I said. Phi can be considered to be fixed, like you can take 30 and 45 are the standard conventions for phi. Okay. If you consider phi 30, this is the phi is the angle between the horizontal and the imaginary line. So, this is the shape, and when phi is 45, this is the shape. Okay. Here for Cabinet, when phi is 45, this is the shape, and phi is 30, this is the shape, alpha being 63.4, tan alpha being 2. Okay. So, let us come to the next class of projections, which are perspective projections. Now, as I said, perspective projections give us a more realistic look and feel, because the lines of projections meet at they converge at a point called the center of projection or projection reference point, or I. Now, what is the transformation matrix that gives us these kinds of, what is the other important thing that you should observe is, with distance the size reduces. It is an important observation. With distance the size reduces. That is the effect of perspective projection. Now with distance, if size has to reduce, what should be the view volume? The view volume in the case of parallel projections is a rectangular box open in the front and the back. The view volume shape in the case of perspective projections is a frustum, as we call. Frustum is something like a shape that is broader in the front and narrower at the back. So it is a view volume of that type. Imagine the olden day cameras where the front is wider and the back is narrowed. Okay. So that is the kind of shape. What is the effect of such a kind of transformation on the objects is that their size reduces as they move close towards the projection reference point. Their size increases as we move away from the projection reference point. So as you can see here, the near plane and the far plane, okay, this is the point where the lines of projection converge. Okay. This is the view plane onto which we are projecting. Okay. And now this is also called the clipping plane or view plane, as you can call as you wish. Now the near clipping plane and the far clipping plane, we also fix two planes. The frustum is a shape and we will consider two planes, and whatever objects that lie within the two only will be considered for projection. Whatever objects that lie beyond these two will not be considered. So the near clipping plane and the far clipping plane determine the boundaries for the shape of the frustum. Okay. Now there is a simple derivation here to understand how perspective projections are carried out and the transformation is performed. The projection reference point is considered here. Let the projection reference point is be considered on the z axis of the viewing coordinate system. Let us call this, let that be here as identified here. Let this be the view plane, let this line be the view plane. So you can imagine a line. If you are seeing the view plane from a different direction, you will see that as a line. Oh, this is the line in the view plane. This is the PRP, projection reference point, and that is intentionally considered to be on the ZV direction. So you can place the PRP wherever you wish. Okay. Now the P is equal to XYZ is the initial position. Now this position in the 3D space is to be projected onto the view plane. This is the view plane, and it hits the view plane here at XP, YP and ZVP. It is because we know the view plane is nothing but a plane which is in the XY plane with the equation Z is equal to 0, or a plane that is parallel to Z is equal to 0, which has the equation ZVP. Okay. So let ZVP is the equation of the view plane. So if the point has to hit the view plane here, the projection point, its coordinates are XP, YP and ZVP. Now our aim is to find out what is XP, what is YP and what is ZVP is already known. Okay. Now for this derivation, we will be considering the parametric form of the line from P to ZPRP. For this line of projection, we will be considering the parametric form. Parametric form is where we consider a parameter u. When u is equal to 0, we are at this end point. When u is equal to 1, we are at this end point. For all values of u anywhere between 0 and 1, we are anywhere along the line. So that is the parametric form, okay, with the u being the parameter. Now let x dashed be any point on the line. So the equation for x dashed is x minus xu, equation for y dashed is y minus yu, equation for z dashed is z minus zprp into u. Now in these three equations, substitute for u 0. What is that you would get? X dashed is x, y dashed is y, z dashed is z. We are at this end point of the line. Now when you substitute u is equal to 1 in the three equations, what is that you would get? X dashed is 0, y dashed is 0, z dashed is equal to z minus zprp into 1, which is zprp. So this position is actually has got the three coordinates 0, 0, zprp. This position is x, y and z. Now this, how do we now compute is, with the three equations in mind, we know that the z on the view plane is ZVP. So this equation is known, ZVP is a position that is known. So for this we know the z coordinate, which is ZVP. So what is this u? For what value of u we are on the view plane is the question here. So, u is equal to 0 we are here, u is equal to 1 we are at the other end. For what value of u between 0 and 1 we are on the view plane is our aim to compute now. Now, how do we compute u? It is like this. So, we know that z dashed is equal to zvp on the view plane. So, z dashed is zvp, and substitute here in the third equation zvp, and u is equal to zvp minus z by zprp minus z. Take all the rest onto the other side, and you will get u is equal to zvp minus z by zprp minus z. Now, we got the value of u, and the next step is to substitute the value of u in the remaining two equations for x dashed and y dashed. So, for that value of u we are on the view plane. So, when you substitute for u this zvp minus z by zprp minus z here, x dashed becomes xp, y dashed becomes yp. So, these are the two equations for that, and you can reduce this further as this distance can be considered as dp. zprp minus zvp is this distance between the PRP and the view plane position, let us call that dp, and this can be further simplified like this. With this we can formulate a projection matrix which is in the homogeneous coordinates. You should observe this matrix carefully. With this we conclude this session. This summaries we have learnt the parallel and perspective projections, and perspective projections are the derivation for parallel projections and perspective projections. We are yet to complete the 1 point, 2 point and 3 point perspective projections. So, the derivation for perspective projections will be covered in the next module at depth. The book is as usual the Hearn and Baker for computer graphics with OpenGL. Thank you.